What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is what you do today, not next year, not next month, not even tomorrow, just today? It's a confronting question, because deep down most people know the truth. They're not failing because they're unlucky. They're not stuck because the world is unfair. They're falling short because they've made excellence optional. They've made discipline negotiable. They've made greatness a dream instead of a daily requirement. We grow up thinking success is this big moment, a finish line, a lucky break, but it's not. Success is quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And it whispers through your habits. That's the truth most people ignore. You can talk about your goals all day, but your daily actions reveal your real priorities. You can tell the world you want to be great, but your habits tell the truth. And if your habits aren't aligned with excellence, neither is your future. That's why Jim Rohn said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. He didn't say once a week. He didn't say when you feel like it. He said every day, because the path to mastery is paved with ordinary days, repeated with extraordinary discipline. But most people don't want to hear that. They want hacks. Shortcuts, overnight results. They want success without struggle, growth without discomfort, but that's not how it works. Excellence isn't a one-time act. It's a habit, a pattern, a decision repeated until it becomes identity. Look at your day. What are you rehearsing? Every time you hit snooze, you rehearse avoidance. Every time you scroll mindlessly, you rehearse distraction. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you rehearse delay. But you can change the script. Because here's the power most people don't realize. You are not your habit. You are the one who chooses them. And if you can choose distraction, you can choose focus. If you can choose comfort, you can choose discipline. If you can choose average, you can choose excellence. But you must decide who you want to become. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. Excellence doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives by intention. It grows in the space between your excuses and your effort. It lives in the choices no one sees, in the moments no one praises, in the days when motivation is gone. But you show up anyway. And the reward, it's not just success. It's not just results. It's the pride of knowing you kept a promise to yourself. It's the confidence of becoming the kind of person you used to admire. It's the peace of knowing you're not living beneath your potential anymore. That's what's waiting for you if you stay with this. If you listen all the way to the end, you'll learn how to shift your mindset from passive to powerful. You'll discover what daily excellence really looks like and how to build it one decision at a time. This isn't about working harder. It's about working deliberately. It's about showing up like your future depends on it, because it does. So here's your moment. Your life is being shaped not in the big milestones, but in what you choose to do next. Will you keep ignoring the quiet power of daily excellence? Or will you finally master it? You already know the answer. Now it's time to live it, of course. Here is the next section, continuing seamlessly from the first, maintaining a high-impact, emotionally charged tone with a focus on motivation, habit transformation, and Jim Rohn's principles. If your future is shaped by what you do daily, then the most urgent question becomes this: what are you willing to do today that your future self will thank you for? That question is not just a motivator, it's a mirror. It reflects back the reality that we are each designing our lives in real time, brick by brick, decision by decision, and every single day is a brick. Jim Rohn didn't speak in noise, he spoke in clarity. He stripped success down to its essence. Simple disciplines practiced consistently, not genius, not luck, not timing. Just discipline, repeated. So if excellence is built one day at a time, then you have to treat each day like a sacred opportunity. Because the truth is, every day is either moving you closer to the person you were meant to become, or cementing you deeper into the version you've settled for. It's not always dramatic. In fact, most of the time it's invisible. No one claps when you wake up early to read instead of scroll. No one cheers when you choose water over soda. No one applauds when you sit down to plan your day with intention. But those moments matter. More than you know. The world wants you distracted. Comfort wants you lazy, but your future, it needs you present, it needs you committed, it needs you obsessed with excellence, not as an outcome, but as an identity. That's what Jim Rohn taught. Success isn't about achieving something far away. It's about becoming someone right now. It's about shifting from I'll try to I will, from someday to today, from hope to habit. So ask yourself, how do you define yourself? Because identity is the strongest force in the human personality. If you see yourself as average, your habits will match. But if you see yourself as disciplined, focused, and capable of greatness, your actions begin to align. And here's the twist: identity doesn't come first. Action comes first. You don't wait until you feel confident to act. You act until confidence becomes natural. You don't wait until you feel motivated to move. You move until momentum pulls you forward. This is where most people get stuck. They think they need to feel ready before they start, but readiness is a myth. What you need is courage to begin, discipline to continue, and faith that the process is working, even when results aren't visible yet. Jim Rohn said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." That bridge isn't built overnight, it's built in repetition, in showing up when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one is watching. That's what separates the exceptional from the average. So you have a choice to make, not just once, but every single day. Will you take ownership of your time, your energy, your attention, or will you drift through life, hoping things will improve without your effort? One path leads to regret, the other leads to legacy. Let that settle in. Regret is quiet, it grows slowly, it waits, and then one day it's unbearable, but so is discipline. It's uncomfortable, yes, but only at the start. Over time, discipline becomes freedom, structure becomes strength. Habit becomes identity. You're not too late. You're not too far behind. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent, because every decision you make is casting a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. One workout, one journal entry, one focused hour, one early morning, that's how you win. Not in loud, explosive moments, but in silent, intentional ones. Jim Rohn didn't just teach this, he lived it. He turned his life around not through luck, but through habit. He became great by doing what others wouldn't, every single day, until greatness became natural. And you can do the same. The reward is more than success. It's waking up proud of who you are. It's looking in the mirror and seeing someone who shows up, who grows, who lives with intention. That feeling is worth every sacrifice, every early morning, every hard choice. Because when you master your days, you begin to master your destiny, and in that mastery, there's peace, there's power, there's purpose. The question now is not if you can, it's if you will, and the answer lies in what you do with the next hour. Absolutely. Here's the next section, flowing naturally with the same emotional power, motivational depth, and intensity. Every hour is a seed, and every seed you plant grows into a result, good or bad. You don't need to predict the future, you need to control the present, because how you spend your hours becomes how you spend your life. Think about that. Most people don't fail because of a single massive mistake. They fail because they leak time, day after day, on things that bring them no closer to who they want to be, distractions disguised as entertainment, comfort disguised as self, care, excuses disguised as logic. But there's a better way. Jim Rohn understood this deeply. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change, and that change is never one big leap. It's the decision to take full ownership of today. You want change? Then become the kind of person who honors your calendar, who keeps promises to yourself, who stops waiting for motivation and starts moving with purpose. Because motivation comes and goes, but discipline, once built, stays. And it becomes your competitive advantage in a world that's addicted to shortcuts and overnight success fantasies. You have to want it more than they want to scroll. You have to want growth more than you want comfort. You have to want the long game, the life of meaning, not just moments of pleasure. Excellence is not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's not about being perfect for a week, it's about being committed for a year, or 6 months, or just this next day. When you show up, even when it's boring, you're separating yourself from 99% of people. Because most don't fail from lack of talent. They fail from lack of follow-through. So how do you follow through? You make the standard non-negotiable. Jim Rohn taught that you either run the day or the day runs you. That's not just a clever phrase, it's a decision. Wake up and choose. Am I running this day with purpose? Or am I reacting to life, letting it toss me around like a leaf in the wind? People crave freedom, but they fear structure. What they don't realize is, structure is what creates freedom. When your life is ruled by your values, not your feelings, you become unshakable. And when excellence becomes a habit, success stops being luck, it becomes predictable. Every small act of discipline is like adding a brick to the foundation of your dream life. You may not see the house yet, but you're building it. One action, one routine, one hard decision at a time. And here's the truth, no one will clap for you in the beginning. That silence, that's your training ground. That's where you build your grit. That's where your habits form and your identity changes. And one day, when the results show up, they'll call you lucky. But you'll know better. You'll know it was the mornings you didn't skip. The workouts you pushed through, the late nights you traded for early goals. You'll know it was discipline that carried you where motivation couldn't. So don't wait for someone to believe in you. Believe in yourself so deeply that it becomes unreasonable to quit. Let every action shout your commitment. Let every day be proof that you're not here to play small. You're here to master your life, one decision, one task, one day at a time. That's how Jim Rohn built his legacy. That's how you build yours, of course. Here's the next section, seamlessly continuing the momentum with the same motivational power and deep emotional resonance. There comes a moment where you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start declaring, "I will." That's the shift. That's where real transformation begins, not in your environment, not in your circumstances, but in your mindset. Your mind is your command center. If it's weak, your progress will always collapse under pressure. But when it's strong, nothing, no excuse, no fear, no failure, can stop the momentum you build. That's why mastering your habits is really about mastering your mind. The story you tell yourself becomes the script you live by. And if your internal dialogue is filled with doubt, hesitation, or self-pity, your life will reflect that. But when you shift that inner voice, when you speak with clarity, certainty, and unshakable belief, everything starts to change. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That statement isn't meant to discourage. It's meant to empower, because becoming better is within your control. You can train your focus. You can discipline your attention. You can outgrow your old excuses. You just have to want it badly enough to do the work without applause. Most people are stuck not because they don't have time or talent, but because they're unwilling to embrace discomfort. Growth demands discomfort. Repetition without reward, progress without praise, it's uncomfortable, but it's how champions are made. You don't need perfect conditions, you need a strong reason, a reason that pulls you forward when discipline gets heavy and motivation dries up. A reason that burns so deep, quitting feels like betrayal. What's your reason? What's at stake if you keep drifting through your days, waiting for a better mood or a better time? That dream you keep postponing, it has a deadline, and every day you waste is a day closer to regret. So reclaim your edge, be the person who chooses discomfort over delay, who chooses focus over distraction, who chooses discipline over emotion. That's how you build a 6-month transformation. Not by chasing 100 things, but by committing to a few things with unwavering consistency. Wake up, own your hours, choose habits that sharpen you, protect your energy, feed your mind, and repeat. Not because it's easy, because it's worth it. Every day you show up with purpose, you rewrite your story. You shift from reacting to life to creating it, from being a victim of your past to becoming the architect of your future. It's not about how fast you move. It's about how intentionally you move. Each decision is a vote for the person you're becoming. Cast enough of those votes, and that person shows up. Not just once, but every day, unstoppable, clear, focused. This is how the greats are made. Not in loud, viral moments, but in quiet consistency, in mastering the day before mastering the dream. So if you're tired of being stuck, tired of watching others rise while you remain where you've always been, it's time. Not for some grand gesture, but for full alignment. Align your habits with your vision. Align your actions with your standards, and align your discipline with your destiny. Because you're not here to live a life of almost. You're here to live a life of excellence, and that life, it begins now. Absolutely. Here's the next section, continuing with the same emotional intensity, clarity, and deep motivational drive. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you've always wanted? With 6 months of focused effort, not luck, not someone's approval, not a miracle, just 6 months of unwavering commitment where your actions finally match your ambition. Let that sink in, because most people are stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping. They get inspired, then distracted, motivated, then lazy, focused, then comfortable again, and every time they restart, they're not beginning at zero. They're beginning from deeper frustration. But you, if you're serious, you break that cycle. You make a decision so solid it cuts off all retreat. You say, this is it, I'm done waiting, I'm done wishing, I'm done living below what I know I'm capable of. That's when change starts. Jim Rohn didn't teach fluff. He taught responsibility, and here's the truth most avoid. Your life is exactly what it is because of the standards you've allowed, not the goals you've set, but the standards you've lived by daily. And your future, it won't be shaped by your wishes, it will be shaped by what you tolerate and what you refuse to let slide anymore. You have to raise the bar, not someday, but now, because 6 months can either pass like every other 6 months, or they can become the season where everything shifted. It's not the time that changes you, it's what you do with it. The beautiful thing is, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Build momentum, even if it's small, because small momentum creates belief, and belief creates unstoppable force. Every day you act on purpose, you prove to yourself that you're not stuck, that you're not weak, that you're not average, you're just becoming. That's the power of daily discipline. It doesn't just change your results, it rewires your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. Someone who does hard things, someone who gets things done even when it's inconvenient. That's how you crush the invisible ceiling holding you back. You rise by doing the thing most people avoid, showing up consistently with full effort and zero excuses. No more waiting for the perfect routine. No more complaining about motivation. You create your own motivation by winning the day. And some days will feel hard, but those are the days that count the most, because anyone can keep going when it's easy. But it's in those hard moments, when everything in you wants to quit, that your future self is being built. If you push through, if you choose growth instead of comfort, you win. Not just the day, but the mindset. 6 months of this, that's not a plan, it's a transformation. The version of you that lives with fire, with clarity, with peace of mind, that version is waiting, not on the other side of luck. On the other side of decision, so make that decision, right now. Don't wait for another reminder, another sign, another low point to wake you up. This is your sign. This is your line in the sand. Get serious about your life. Get serious about your habits. Get serious about becoming someone you're proud of. Someone whose life is proof of discipline, not just dreams. Because you're not 6 months away from possibility. You're 6 months away from proof, and it starts today. Here is the next section, continuing the momentum with deep motivation, emotional impact, and clarity of purpose. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish in half a year because they never give themselves fully to it. They dabble, they dip their toes, but greatness doesn't respond to half effort. It reveals itself only when you go all in. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if, for 6 straight months, you stopped negotiating with your excuses? What if every morning, instead of reaching for your phone, you reached for your purpose? What if you stopped hoping your goals would somehow become real, and instead you made them non-negotiable? That's the difference between those who talk and those who transform. And transformation is never accidental. It's engineered through systems, habits, focus, and discipline. You don't need more time, you need more alignment. Alignment between what you say you want and what you actually do when no one's watching. This is where character is formed, in the silent hours, in the uncelebrated choices, in the private victories that build public results. And when you show up, when you choose discipline over distraction, you begin to develop something powerful, self-respect. Not the kind that's loud or boastful, the kind that's quiet and unshakable, the kind that says, I keep my word, to myself. That's what most people lack. They're not lazy, they just don't trust themselves anymore. They've broken so many promises to their own potential that their confidence has eroded. But here's the truth, you can rebuild it, one choice at a time. Wake up early when you said you would. Follow through on the task you planned. Speak kindly to yourself when the old voice of doubt starts whispering again. That's how belief is earned, by stacking daily wins, no matter how small. Jim Rohn taught that success is neither magical nor mysterious. It's simply the natural consequence of consistently applying the basics. So what are your basics? Is it reading 10 pages a day? Is it moving your body, practicing gratitude, building a business, fixing your finances, connecting deeply with your vision? Whatever your blueprint is, commit to it fully, not halfway, not when it's easy, every single day. Because in 6 months, your results will be a reflection of one thing, how you managed your minutes. This world won't hand you success, but it will hand you time, and it's your job to turn that time into proof. Proof that you showed up, proof that you didn't quit, proof that when things got tough, you got tougher. The road won't be smooth. You'll feel resistance, you'll face setbacks, you'll be tempted to fall back into comfort. But remind yourself, comfort is not your destination, excellence is. And excellence is not built by feelings. It's built by action, repeated with intention, even when motivation disappears. Let your future self look back 6 months from now and whisper, thank you for not giving up on me. That version of you is waiting, not just to exist, but to lead, to thrive, to dominate your own lane. Don't delay that version another day. There comes a moment in every transformation where your old self begs to survive. It tries to pull you back into comfort, into patterns, into the identity that kept you small. That voice will whisper, it's okay to skip today. You've done enough. You can start over tomorrow. But you can't afford to listen to that voice anymore. Because every time you choose comfort over commitment, you reinforce the version of you that stays stuck. You're not trying to improve slightly. You're trying to become unrecognizable to the old you. That takes fire. That takes obsession. That takes showing up even when your mind says stop. Jim Rohn said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And most people never cross that bridge, not because they can't, but because they stop walking when it gets dark. But if you want to live at the level of your vision, you have to train yourself to walk through the darkness. The fear, the doubt, the loneliness, not run from it. Walk through it with your head high. Because that's where strength is born, that's where resilience is forged, that's where you stop being a dreamer and start becoming a doer. Think of this journey like climbing a mountain. At the base, you're surrounded by others. Everyone's excited, everyone's motivated, but the higher you climb, the quieter it gets, the more uncomfortable it becomes. And that's where people start turning back, but you're not most people. You didn't start this to get halfway up and go back to average. You started because something in you, something deep, knew you were made for more, and that part of you, it's still in there. It's stronger than your excuses, louder than your doubts, hungrier than your distractions. Let it speak, let it lead, and when you feel like stopping, remember this, you're already in pain. Don't waste it, use it, channel it, turn it into progress. Every day you push through is a message to your future self. I've got your back. Imagine what 6 months of that message can do. Imagine the momentum, the clarity, the energy, the confidence. You don't need external motivation. You need to tap into that internal standard that says, I don't skip days, I don't back down, I don't need permission to improve. I build myself daily. Because my life depends on it, and it does. Because the life you dream of. The peace, the success, the power, it's not found in a book. It's not given by a mentor. It's not handed out by the world. It's earned through sweat, through silence, through relentless consistency. So show up again. Today, tomorrow, the next day, until your identity aligns with the version of you that doesn't beg for change, but becomes it. You've waited long enough. Now is the time to build the life that makes people say, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile because deep down, you'll know the answer. I didn't quit.